A lot of parents out there do something that as a parent I've always refused to do. They force their kids to automatically apologize for something that they may have said or done. Let's talk about why that's not the best thing to do. Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about something that, as parents, a lot of people choose to do, but it's not usually the right thing to do. So let's say your kid says something to another kid, and another parent comes to you and says, your kid said this to my kid, or your kid did this to my kid. And you immediately, it's reflexive almost with a lot of parents. You tell them you're sorry. So what is this really telling your kid? The first reason this is wrong is you are not teaching your kid to actually feel empathy for another or actually being sorry for their actions. You're teaching them, if you say sorry, you get out of trouble. It doesn't mean they have to understand why what they did was wrong or actually feel bad about it. They just have to say two simple words, I'm sorry, and everything's okay. And that's not the case. If your kid is doing bad things, they're bullying other people, they are saying horrible things to other people. Number one, bullying, being verbally abusive, these are usually learned behaviors. So you may need to look at yourself, your spouse, your family, or something to see where this behavior is being learned. But telling your kid to say they're sorry for these behaviors is not going to make it not happen again. In all probability, this is a long-term thing. Your kid does something, you tell them, say you're sorry, they say they're sorry, you're fine with it, the other family's probably not, but they accept the apology even though they shouldn't because your kid wasn't sorry. No one is taught anything by this vicious cycle of action, reaction, fake apology. This is not the way to raise a good kid to be a good adult, or to be somebody who actually understands right from wrong. Now, the other reason that I really think telling your kid to say they're sorry isn't effective is because I've always proactively tried to teach my kids not to do something in the first place that they're going to feel sorry for. If another child says nasty things to them or curses at them or does something, I don't tell them that it's necessarily appropriate to do the exact same thing back. You're just being as bad as they are. So, you're not teaching them necessarily right from wrong. Just because someone else says something horrible does not give you the license to do it back. It just makes you equally as bad as they are. And as a parent, you don't want to teach your kids that because someone acts or behaves a certain way, it's okay to do the same thing back. It's rarely the case. Now, in the case of someone hitting your child, I have taught my kids, I am fine with it if they are defending themselves to defend themselves. You don't want to raise your child to be a victim. You don't want to raise your child so that bullies know your child is a victim. They're going to be bullied because you've taught them not to hit or not to do something. There's nothing wrong with teaching your child to defend themselves, but you don't want them to be taught to be a bully and do that to other people. Defending yourself, I've always defended my kids. If someone physically tries to harm them and they react, defend themselves, and that other kid ends up getting punched in the face too, I'm fine with that. I tell them, accept the consequences, but that's okay. That's my personal opinion. You have a right to defend yourself. And if somebody's trying to commit violence on you and you are capable of stopping that, and if you have to, doing something to make them stop that, that's fine. You have that right. I'll defend you for that. There may be consequences, but you have that right. But as far as if your child is one of these kids who is physically abusive to others or is verbally abusive to others or a bully, that's a problem. Saying you're sorry does not stop that action. They will still do it until they get caught again. And you need to do something to make sure that you're not creating a bully with your children, or a physically or verbally abusive individual out of your children. I mean, if you're that way with them, they're going to grow up that way. And sometimes it's not your fault. Perhaps it's not a verbally or physically abusive family. It could be physically or verbally abusive friends that, they think are friends, and they teach them that this is the right way to be, and they learn to be bullies that way. You need to raise your child to understand that someone like that is not someone who should be their friend. That's not the kind of person they should want to hang around, and they certainly should not be the kind of person to grow up to victimize others and make other people feel better for their own pleasure, because that's what jackasses like this do. Basically, if you raise your kids so that they understand these things are wrong and doing these types of things are bad, you're not going to be put in this place where you have to have your child apologize for something that, let's face it, they're not sorry for. Now, there will be cases where your child they should reflexively understand that they've done something wrong, and they should feel guilty about it and apologize for it when they realize what they've done is wrong. But the only way you're going to get there is by teaching your children some type of empathy. So the way you can do this when they're young, kids don't really understand a lot of the things that they do. Let's face it, they may bite, they may hit because they're acting out. And you need to be able to relay to them in a way that they'll understand that what they're doing to someone else is similar to something that's been done to them. Let's say another child bit them or hit them, and you need to say, when you did that to that other child, remember when, let's say, your little brother bit you or hit you. How did that make you feel? And they'll understand. That made me feel bad. It made me feel sad, angry, all these kinds of things, that they didn't love me. Once they understand that what they are doing to someone else is the same thing that was done to them that made them feel terrible, that's where they'll understand how they're making someone else feel. When you can put it in the context of how something similar made them feel, they will then empathize and understand, I shouldn't be doing that because I don't want to make someone else feel as bad as I felt. And then that apology will actually be sincere. But this knee-jerk reaction that parents have, where no matter what happens, they automatically say, go apologize to them, and then that apologizing magically makes things go away, is only teaching a child that apologizing gets you out of trouble. It doesn't teach them that they're apologizing for something that they should actually feel sorry for. So if you're a parent, don't be one of these parents who just automatically tells your kid, apologize for that. You need to, at an early age, teach them that that thing that was done to them and made them feel terrible, what they're doing is the exact same thing. And that's the jolt that'll actually help them understand and empathize with others. If you do this where all you do is teach them lie and say you're sorry, and you get out of things, it's almost like you're triggering a bit of sociopathic behavior where your child will automatically know, lie, say I'm sorry, and everything's golden. You don't want to raise that kind of person. You don't want to raise the Jimmy Swaggart where he cried after getting caught with a prostitute and said, I'm sorry. And then he got caught with a prostitute again. I'm sorry. No, nobody believes you. I mean, let's face it, nobody believed him the first time he was sorry he got caught. Just like your kid is sorry he got caught. That's what he's sorry about. But the dude kept doing it. The guy was a jackass. Don't raise your kid to be like that. Raise them to understand right from wrong, so they probably won't do something to have to say they're sorry for, but also raise them so they understand and empathize with why what they did hurt them the way maybe they've been hurt in the past. That's how you have to do it to raise a kid who, when they say they're sorry, they mean it, and it is meaningful to them that they're sorry. Anyway, that's it for today. If you enjoy the content, remember to like and subscribe down below. Ding that bell to get notified for when the next content's coming up. Have an awesome day, and we'll catch you next time.